Okay, now we're in step 8. Step 8 is the presentation. Now at the very beginning of the presentation, and even sometimes before the questionnaire, use the words, before we get started, I need to collect a little bit of information from you to make sure that what we present to you suits your needs and wants. That makes sense, right? Okay, great. Let me ask you a couple questions, and then you go into step 7. Now, step 8, you now have an educated sales force, imagine, because there may be training that needs to be done to your representatives at this very moment, and I would tend to find that with most sales forces, this is where the workshop becomes so valuable, because you have a way that you want to be presented. But what have you done to guarantee that you're presented that way? In other words, who decided exactly how the representatives in the field and customer service and manufacturing, how exactly they deal with the outside buying world? Unfortunately, very often you hired people because of their sales ability and assumed they would figure out their way through that, or at most gave them a cursory training on the products and services. I'm talking about from a sales standpoint where you need to get the correct information across to every prospect to allow them to make a yes or no decision. And I very often ask that as a question. What I'm going to ask you to do after today, I really do very seriously, or take my business very seriously. In businesses where you have to come back for a closing appointment, this would be done on that appointment instead, and I'll show you how you finish up in those two situations in step 9. But here in step 8, you have to present in such a way that it matches up to their needs and wants that you established in step 7. And retraining the representatives on exactly how to put them in that position starts with, you know what, the yes or no maybe statement. If you like it, say yes. If you don't like it, say no. The only thing I ask you is not to tell me you need to think about it, or some version of that. And sometimes you want to go for a third appointment. So again, these things are used on the final closing appointment when you're going to get down to your yes or no. And that's where you got to get. Unfortunately, there's a lot of glum on the world. There's a lot of dishonesty that we're finding out is around that a lot of us sensed for a long time. And we have to deal with that. We have to get to the point where it is a yes or no decision. This is in any kind of relationship. A good, healthy relationship is one where you benefit and you feel like you're benefiting from being in it. You might have to be tolerant of some things, but nothing that you wouldn't want somebody to tolerate in you if it came down to it. But a toxic relationship is one where there's lying and cheating and stealing and all of that going on. You want to be able to figure that out. That's what step 7 and going into step 8 does. It allows you to give a straightforward presentation that at the end the client is going to be able to make an educated yes or no decision on your product or service. It's pivotal. Now, one thing you'll notice, and we spend a bunch of time here too writing all of that so that we present you the way you want to be presented. We've been in business this many years. These are our strengths. These are all the things that the representatives need to touch on every single step. We also have our beginning evaluation, our opening evaluation, which we give out. It's free of charge. You can get it through glennbroder@gmail.com. And what it does is it allows you to take the temperature of your current business. It's a very in-depth evaluation. And if you're honest, it can lay out exactly what you need to do to move forward. But back to step 8. We're now, if you noticed, have not talked about price at all. We don't talk about price until step 10. We're now going into step 9, which is the final needs assessment.